We're down to the Final Four with the Leagues Cup tournament. We have the semifinals kicking off on Wednesday, August 21st. Now, the quarterfinals were tight. There was only 7 goals in the 4 games. 3 of those came in one game, with LAFC winning 3-0 over Seattle. That was the only over game, as the under 2.5 went 3-1. All the other games ended tied 1-1, 1-1, and 0-0, and needed to go into PKs. Let's move in, though, to Wednesday's games. Before you bet these games, check out this link, signupexpert.com/shred-the-spread. You'll see a listing of all the top sportsbook promos for new customers in your area. There's bonus bets, deposit matches, and more, up to $500, $1,000, or even $1,500 in some cases. So be sure to check that out. And while you're watching this video, if you find this info helpful, help me out by giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel for more soccer predictions. Semifinal number 1 is the Columbus Crew and the Philadelphia Union. This one kicks off at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Crew let in a goal just 14 seconds into the last game against New York City FC. Cucho Hernandez, though, leveled it in the 41st. They had tons of chances to win before PKs, but couldn't get that second goal. They let in shots 18-5, shots on target 6-3. Did need PKs, where they'd go on to win 4-3. The Crew were 6th overall in the Supporters' Shield race. They own the top defense in all of MLS. They'd only lost once at home this season in MLS, and only allowed 7 goals as well when they're playing at Lower.com Field, which is where they'll be playing here as the home team. Columbus kicked off their Leagues Cup in the round of 32. They beat SKC 4-0. The round of 16 saw them fall behind 2-0 to Inter Miami, but they stormed back in the second half for 3 goals to go on to win 3-2. Diego Rossi was off a bit last game, but he still has 9 goals, 5 assists in his last 10 games for the Crew. Columbus is now 8-1-1 in 10 games, and they've outscored their opponents 30-8 in that time as well. They'll meet Philly here. Philly met Mazatlan last round in the quarterfinals. Ty Baribo took a red card after 2 questionable yellows in the first half stoppage time in the quarterfinals there. However, Mikel Urey still put the Union up 1-0 just moments later. Mazatlan would level in the 59th. That game ended 1-1. Both had 5 shots on target. Andre Blake made a huge save late in the second half to get Philly to PKs. He then made 2 more saves during PKs to guide Philly to the win. Blake won man of the match. And since his return from injury, the Union are 6-0-1. Now, missing Baribo, who has 5 Leagues Cup goals, will be a big blow, though, for the Union. He is tied for the scoring race right now in the tournament. But he's not the only key Union player who won't feature in the semifinals. Reports are Jose Martinez played his last game after accepting a transfer to Corinthians in Brazil. And after his farewell last game, that certainly looks like the case there. Other tournament games saw Philly beat Charlotte 1-0 before drawing Cruz Azul 1-1, losing in PKs in the group stage. In the round of 32, it was a 2-0 win over Montreal. Then it was off to the round of 16, where they went to Cincinnati and upset Cincy 4-2. So certainly they've proved capable of getting wins on the road against some top teams. The Union are now undefeated in regulation in their last 7, and they've scored a goal in 10 of 11. Now that will give them some hope of upsetting the odds here in this game, but the money is clearly on the Crew here, the MLS Cup champs. I've seen the odds shift from anywhere around -150 to -170, -175, or maybe even more. Columbus has been falling behind in games, so the best way to get some value in this, if you're not just going to bet Columbus to win, would certainly be to back something from Philly. So likely maybe both teams to score, or Columbus to win and both teams to score. But with no Baribo, that will be a big loss for the Union. To qualify by any means, if this game was to go to PKs, Columbus heavily favored -300, Philly +225. Now, while these teams haven't met this season, last year the Union won 4-1. They also drew 1-1. Philly is also undefeated in 7. They're 4-3-0 in the last meetings against Columbus. I can't bet, though, against the Crew here at home, but unless you ask them to win by 2 or parlay them possibly with LAFC to win, there certainly won't be much value. So we'll create a same-game parlay at Bet365 with Columbus to win in regulation and Diego Rossi, who's been on fire with tons of goals and assists, to have over 0.5 shots on target. Rossi has 2, 3, and 3 shots on target in his last 3 games. Only 1 time in 9 games has he not had at least 1. So if we pair Rossi to have at least 1 shot on target with Columbus to win in regulation, we can come in at +100 odds, which is much more manageable. Now, semifinal number 2 will be out in the West, LAFC in Colorado. This one at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Now, in this western side of the bracket, LAFC had goals in the 13th, the 25th, and the 53rd minutes from Ryan Hollingshead, Kai Kamara, and Dennis Bouanga. LAFC continued their dominance over Seattle in recent seasons and held the Sounders to just 2 shots on target last game and got the shutout win 3-0. LA also beat Tijuana 3-0, drew Vancouver 2-2 before losing in PKs, beat Austin 2-0, and then San Jose 4-1 in their other Leagues Cup games. LAFC is now 17-2-2 in 21 overall matches, and they've scored multiple goals, so 2 or more in 16 of 21. Buanga is tied for first in the Leagues Cup scoring with 5 goals. He's tied for second in assists with 3. Christian Oliveira is also tied for second in scoring with 4 goals himself. Olivier Giroud is still easing his way into the lineup with just getting minutes off the bench. Clearly, they have not even needed him yet, but he certainly is a big addition to the team. Club America were LigaMX's last chance in this tournament to get the win. In the final game of the quarterfinals, they faced Colorado, and despite America leading in possession 61%, shots 20-7, shots on target 4-1, and corners 6-1, they could not break through, and really, they never really looked like they were in top form all tournament long. The game ended 0-0 with Colorado going on to win 9-8 in PKs. Rapids keeper Zach Steffen scored the winning goal, and then also stopped his opposing keeper Luis Malagon for the winning save as well. Rapids' other games in this tournament have seen Colorado lose 4-0 to Portland. They drew Club Leon 1-1, then won in PKs. In the round of 32, they won 3-2 over Juarez. In the round of 16, Toluca also piled up 22 shot attempts, 6 on target, 66% possession. The Rapids had only 4 shots, 2 on target. That game was 1-1 until a late Colorado goal got them the win to make it 2-1. Now, last game's clean sheet for Colorado against Club America was rare, as Colorado had allowed a goal in 11 straight games prior to that. That's now a goal conceded in 15 of 18. It was also a rare, low-scoring game for Colorado. In MLS, 25 of 27 Colorado games have seen 2 or more goals this season. So too had all 4 of their previous Leagues Cup games this tournament. Colorado not scoring a goal, though, was also rare. They've done so in 8 of 10 in 23 of their past 26 games. So that could be a good stat to consider. Maybe Colorado getting on the score sheet here against LAFC, but then LAFC have also kept clean sheets in 4 of their last 6. This will be a big matchup. We have some top teams here in the Western Conference. LAFC are second in the West in MLS, Colorado 4th. Both can score. In fact, the Rapids have scored more, 50 compared to 48 regular season goals. But defensively, there's a big gap where LAFC have conceded just 30 and Colorado 43. Colorado's defense also lost Canadian international center back Moise Bambito, who signed with Nice in France. Now he has missed the last 3 games as well, and Colorado has still had advanced, so they've certainly been playing without him already, but still not a positive for a defense that's usually leaky. This is the 3rd meeting this season. Both have won at home. The Rapids 3-2, LAFC 3-0, and with a 4-0 win last year as well, LAFC have now scored 9 goals in their last 3 games against Colorado. Now, this is another game where the favorite has taken money. LAFC moving from around minus 180 to now over minus 200 to simply advance by any means. LAFC is minus 400 and Colorado plus 275. So again, unless you were to parlay Columbus and LAFC together to win in regulation, which does look like a good option in my opinion, that would set up an MLS Cup rematch. You can get odds of around plus 134. We'll again have to get a little creative if you were looking for a straight bet. So we could go with something like this, a same game parlay, LAFC to win, LAFC to score over 1.5 goals, so 2 or more, and Buanga to have at least 1 shot on target, so over 0.5 shots on target. That would bring this down, still not to a great payout, but more reasonable at minus 150 at Bet365. Buanga, as like we said, is the leading scorer in this tournament, and he has 14 shots on target in his last 8 games, and at least 1 in 7 of the last 8. So LAFC to win, score over 1.5, Buanga over 0.5 shots on target would be minus 150. There you go. Either get a little creative with these same game parlays for the 2 games, or just bet on that MLS Cup rematch and pair Columbus and LAFC together. That's the way I see it. But what do you like in these Leagues Cup semifinals games? Be sure to drop your picks down there in the comments. Best of luck. And if you're looking for some South American soccer content, I've done a rundown of all of the round of 16 Common Bowl Libertadores games this week for Leg 2. You can find that right up there.